Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football. And Chelsea have lost six consecutive game in the Premier League as they got thrashed 3-1 by Nottingham Forest. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. But before I start talking about the game, for my side, full prayers and support to Jesse Derry and Zach Abbott, both of them nasty collision. Jesse Derry, young kid, playing in the Premier League, and he gets the injury, gets injured that way, gets a stretch out of it. It was quite a bad scenario. And same for Zach Abbott as well. He also got a substituted. And then in the second half, yet again, Robert Sanchez and Morgan Gibbs White, both of them, another clash of heads, and both of them also had to get substituted. Robert Sanchez was wearing a head tape as well. So I, from my side, for all the four players, best wishes to them, and that they can, get back to playing football, and that the injuries are not that serious. So after coming back to the game, it was a horror show if you're a Chelsea fan, if I'm being very honest with you, because Nottingham Forest came out of the from the get go. They just came out and they attacked, like hungry wolves. They, because of what had happened yesterday with Spurs winning, there was a chance, now that Forest could have gotten pulled back into that relegation scrap. So they needed some sort of response in this game, and they delivered, and they delivered massively early on. The goal, I think Mark Cucurella, for me, I think he's one of the best left backs in the world, but he was disastrous today. The way he so easily he gets played down from the winger, and the cross comes in, and for the first goal, I mean, it's so early in the game, and Chelsea were all over the place defensively. The ball comes in, and Amuni was so easy for him to score that goal. No, none of the defenders. I think it was Gusto, and I don't remember the other one. Both of them he was between them, and none of them went close to him. None of them tried, I get physical and tried to stop him. Easy header for him, great thumping header. No chance for Robert Sanchez as Sanchez to stop that. But for me, the goal comes in because of the assist, the way that he, Marco Villa gets thrown away is such a poor defending, and then in the box as well, the way they, it was so easy for Amenu to score that goal. It becomes 1-0, and then the second goal at the penalty. I mean, what is Gusto doing there? I think both Chelsea fullbacks were atrocious today. Such a lazy foul. You cannot literally do it. Just shows that the Chelsea players mentally have not been there this season. Not only today. Today they, every time I watch Chelsea, they keep getting worse and worse. I personally have said Chelsea have one of the worst defense in the Premier League. Mid-table sides have a better defense as compared to Chelsea, and they spend a good amount of money on in buying attacking players and midfielders. They need to spend a good amount of money to buy defensive players, because their defense is atrocious. What was Gusto doing there? I mean, it is so lazy. You cannot do that. Trying to pull somebody out, it is an easy penalty, and Igor Jesus steps up and he scores that goal. It becomes a 2-0, and throughout the game, these are small moments, but there was only one team that wanted to win that game, and it was not Chelsea. Nottingham Forest were hungry. They moved the ball so fast. They were so quick with it. The moment Forest had the ball, the players were just moving forward and trying to take chances. They were winning all the 50-50s. The interaction with each other, the way they were linking with each other, it was so good to watch. In Chelsea, on the other hand, they were just flat. There was nothing from that. There's no urgency. There was no passion. It did not feel like they wanted to win the game. They were just running around. They were chasing shadows. Or the only one player that I can say that had a good game from Chelsea was João Pedro. Whenever the ball got to him, it felt like something was happening. Apart from that, I think every one of those Chelsea players should be ashamed of themselves. They were so poor. The incident happened. Chelsea get a penalty, and Cole Palmer, I mean, he has been abysmal this season. I mean, he has been a pathetic run of form, and again he gets the chance to get Chelsea back into the game, and he misses a penalty, a really poor penalty. Matthew Sells has been really good when it comes to scoring penalties, but Cole Palmer's that penalty was really poor. Full credit to Sells for stopping that, but it was not a good penalty. It was a really poor penalty, and on the follow up as well, he's not really able to get the ball at his feet, and the ball goes out. It was so poor. You could just see the players are not really up for it mentally. Chelsea players are not there. The second half comes in, and again Forest were on the front for that. That's the problem. They played aggressively, and they basically came to Stamford Bridge and they bullied Chelsea. I mean, it was utterly ridiculous to watch Chelsea. They had a much better second half, if I'm being very honest with you, but they had already lost the game. Forest, the moment that third goal goes in, and when he scores that goal again, a wonderful world goal. The way he makes that run, I cannot believe how easy it was for him, to be in that Chelsea box, and no tackle, nobody is marking him for that third goal as well. He easily makes that run, and nobody is there to stop him. Nobody is going with him, and they're just hoping for the best. And even for when the cross comes in, nobody is there to stop the cross coming in as well. So it is very easy for Forest to play that play the ball and score the goal. It becomes a 3-0. And after 3-0 as well, Forest make the changes and they bring in new players. They get rest some of the players, and I think that sort of helped Chelsea, because the intensity for Forest sort of came down, because they have their eye on that Europa League semi-final as well. And I personally felt it was a great time for Chelsea to play Forest, because their mind would have been on the Europa League. But Chelsea were clueless. They really did not know what to do. As second half, they were much better as compared to the first half. But again, it was nothing spectacular, and again it was João Pedro was trying to do something. I think Cucurella, in my opinion, he was woeful in that first half, but I think second half he was a bit better. He created, a couple of good chances for them, so he was a much better going forward. But defensively was really poor. João Pedro scores that goal. It gets rolled offside yet again. And it was a day where nothing went for Chelsea up until that moment that João Pedro scores that blinder of a goal. Great performance. A great technique. It gets the ball, waits it, makes it, and then scores the goal with a bicycle kick. So as I said, apart from João Pedro, no Chelsea player can say that I had a good game. All of them were useless, completely useless, and a shameful performance from a Chelsea perspective. The players, that's what they gave to the fans on the pitch. It was a really poor performance, and that is why I said, even though Rosinia was doing all the worst that he could possibly have done at Chelsea, I really did not want him to get sacked at at this stage of the season, because it's not going to work. They had a good game at the FA Cup, and everybody was like, oh, the Chelsea are back, Chelsea are back. They are not back, if I'm being very honest with you. You could see, the way that they played in the FA Cup, and even today, like they are not there. And I said it last weekend, when Rosinia got sacked there, and their last Premier League game, I said if they continue play like this, they might not finish in the top 10. And now I genuinely feel that, because if you look at the teams around them, you have Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, all of them, they are playing much better football. And if today Everton we somehow get beat Manchester City later on, Chelsea are going to be outside of the top 10 or at the 10th place. And it is unimaginable that Chelsea, or a month ago, they were trying to qualify for the Champions League, they were fighting for the Champions League places, and now they might not finish in the top 10. It is turning out to be a disastrous season. And as much as you can blame the owners, you can blame managers, you need to blame the players as well, because they need to step up. There's still a chance that they might qualify for the Europa League or Conference League, but they need to step up, and they need to start playing good football, and they need to start winning games. Because at the moment, the Chelsea fans were so happy that they finally scored a goal. In the last 5 games, they have not been able to score a goal. So that shows you how poor they have been. And again, in the way it looks like, if I was a betting man, I would put my money on Chelsea not finishing in the top 10, because I just don't see, that the game next weekend between Spurs are going to be over the moon right now, because a couple of months ago, everybody was thinking that Chelsea are going to have the best moment in their life, that they are going to be the ones that relegate Spurs. Now Spurs are looking at this Chelsea side, and they're going to be like, this is the perfect time to play Chelsea. Spurs are going, are looking good, and they, in a positive moment, their form is going really good, and Chelsea are spiraling. And I think Spurs are going to be licking their lips coming to Stamford Bridge and playing that game. And I think this could turn out to be a huge disaster for Chelsea. And if I'm being very honest, I personally think they are going to go 7 in a row without winning the game. I think they are going to lose that game right now. Looking at the forms, I really think Spurs are going to thrash Chelsea as well. But for today, another disastrous performance. A huge 3 points for Nottingham Forest. They were simply sensational, and they deserve to win this game. And now I personally think they are going to be safe. I said it last week. For me, it's between West Ham and Spurs. I think Forest and Leeds are going to be safe. And after this performance as well, I think it's Spurs or West Ham. One of them goes down. That's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Chelsea's performance, Forest performance, and what do you think Chelsea can do to salvage their season and somehow qualify for any European competition, let alone, forget the Champions League, that's done. If they want to qualify for the Europa League or Conference League, what should they do? Let me in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the season. About a month remaining for the season to end, less than 40 subscribers, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.